The notice requirement
Recording in progress.
the notice requirement provided for the Open Public Meetings Law has been satisfied. Notice was properly given, said notice having been transmitted to the Courier News on Tuesday, January 16th, 2024, as well as posting on the city's website. Clerk, may we have a roll call?
Council members Briggs Jones.
Present.
Cherry.
Present.
McCray. Present. Sessoms.
Present.
Wyatt.
Present.
Vice President Graham.
Present.
Council President Hockaday.
Present.
All members present in a quorum.
Okay, please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for the invocation.
Humbly we ask God, the giver of peace and the lover of charity, to give the entire family of nations true agreement with his will, and to grant the light of his spirit on all those who work for justice and peace. Amen.
Thank you. May we have a motion to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of November 12th?
So moved. Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition or abstentions? Okay, the meeting minutes are approved. We will start with presentations. We'll start first with Councilman Wyatt.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
All right, today I have a resolution recognizing Valerie Soup Kitchen for its commitment to serving the Plainfield community. I had the opportunity to go several occasions to volunteer over at, where they do it at. And one of the things that I recognized is the work that they do is really hard work. But what they do is they serve meals to the public. Each time it's over 100 people waiting in line. They have people in the kitchen preparing the meals. They have people packaging the meals, pouring the drinks, and then serving them to the people. They also give out clothes. So I just want to read this resolution and thank you all for the hard work that you do. This is the holiday season, which is the giving season, and you do it time and time again. So thank you for your commitment to the city of Plainfield. Whereas Crescent Avenue Presbyterian Church in Plainfield hosts Valerie Soup Kitchen 3 Tuesdays each month, fostering a mission to nourish bodies and uplift spirits by providing food, clothing, groceries, and personal items to those in need. And whereas Valerie Soup Kitchen has become an essential service to many in Plainfield facing food insecurity, thanks to the contributions of the Keys Foundations, generous donors, Chef Kevin Cook, and dedicated volunteers who work tirelessly to bring hope and sustenance to the community. And whereas each Tuesday, except for the first Tuesday of each month, correct? Okay. A nutritious takeout lunch is served starting at 11:30 a.m., typically featuring a hot main course soup or salad, side vegetables, fruit, beverage, and dessert prepared based on available donations and purchased items. And whereas Valerie Soup Kitchen serves over 200 meals every Tuesday to individuals and local organizations and has become a vital food distribution point, currently supplying 20 different organizations in addition to its own meal program. And whereas, in addition to meals, Valerie Soup Kitchen sets up a grocery table every Tuesday, offering fresh produce, bulk items, and additional donations, with a projected 14 tons of groceries to be distributed this year. Whereas the program also provides donated clothing, toiletries, toys, and household items to guests at no cost, which is expanding due to the increasing generosity of the community. And whereas, understanding the ongoing needs beyond Tuesday service, Crescent Avenue Presbyterian Church also offers a daily morning bag lunch, distributing between 25 to 50 bags each weekday to address food insecurity throughout the week. Valerie Soup Kitchen collaborates with various community organizations, including the Unitarian Church for monthly grocery distribution and other groups that provide health care and social services, thereby strengthening the network of support in Plainfield. And whereas the invaluable support from Costco, the Food Bank of New Jersey, Stop and Shop, and over 20 other organizations has contributed to the success of Valerie Soup Kitchen, along with financial support from the Keys Foundation, Westfield Service League, Snyder Foundation, and numerous individual donors. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the City of Plainfield and its council hereby recognize and commend Valerie Soup Kitchen, Crescent Avenue Presbyterian Church, Chef Kevin Cook, and all dedicated donors and volunteers for their unwavering commitment and essential contributions to alleviating hunger and providing hope and uplifting the residents here in the City of Plainfield. Be it further resolved that this resolution is prepared as a token of gratitude for the compassion, selflessness, and community spirit embodied by Valerie Soup Kitchen and all those who support it. Would you please come up and receive this?
Well, I think Councilman Wyatt has pretty much said everything that I was going to say in the resolution, because we do serve between 150 and over 200 hot meals every Tuesday. And also the bag lunch program has really grown, and we serve a bag lunch every weekday, except Tuesdays that the soup kitchen is open. And we've become really a clearinghouse for like tons and tons of food that is donated to us that we can't use, that we distribute to other organizations and groups in the city. And we have the shopping table, as you said, you stole all my all my comments. So it means I can keep it brief. But thank you to the council, thank you to Councilman Wyatt, Mayor Matt, for this recognition, and Crescent Avenue Presbyterian Church and Valerie Soup Kitchen really appreciate the honor. Okay, all right. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We'll next have a presentation from the Honorable Mayor Adrian O'Matt. The floor is yours.
Well, thank you, Mr. President and members of the governing body. I would like to speak to the governing body and the public about a few items, beginning with Hannah Atkins Park. We are going to be demolishing the playground that's Hannah Atkins, making sure that the land is DEP compliant and that there are no environmental hazards by doing an environmental impact analysis of the proposed action. The new playground will be porous and built on existing natural lawn and concrete, an area so that there will be minimal environmental impacts. Currently, the area is underutilized because the playground is not in good condition, and we are looking to change that. We want to make sure that our parks get maximum use, and that is why we're investing in all of our parks, and it's Hannah Atkins' turn. No adverse impacts are anticipated, and therefore no mitigating factors may be required. The survey on social media that asks residents for input, and I invite our residents to go online and participate prior to the closing at the end of February 2025. So far, we've received a number of very helpful input from the respondents. We will have an all-new inclusive playground equipment such as high swings and rock-salt seesaw, handicap parking, wheelchair-accessible picnic tables, a family restroom, quiet play area, and other upgrades to ensure the space is comfortable for all with all physical, sensory, cognitive, social, and communication needs. This will take care of everyone. We have applied for Green Acres grant funds so that this is done at very little taxpayer expense. We've also put capital dollars towards making other playgrounds ADA inclusive. Playgrounds such as Sidler Field, Milt Campbell, and the highly anticipated Rushmore Recreational Complex, which I know everyone is looking forward to with great deal of excitement and anticipation, and that is coming in the spring of 2025. We've also, last meeting, I mentioned that we were in discussions with Union County about a 5.7 acre site that is on Cushing Road, with the view to developing that in a way that would be pleasing to our residents. And I thought some people might have misunderstood what development meant. So I just want to clarify that we're not thinking of any residential development. Those who live within a half mile of 1229-53 Cushing Road, which is a 5.7 acre open space, will receive a mailing. And that mailing will be going out very, very shortly. There'll be 1,005 homes that will receive this mailing. They are within a 0.5 mile radius of this open space. So we have created an online survey to gather community perspective about how this space could be developed. So the participation of the residents in that area is crucial in helping us to understand what amenities and features would best serve our residents. Residents are therefore asked to complete the survey, which will provide preset options like playground, walking path, sculpture gardens, etc. And they will have space to provide their own ideas and additional feedback. So we really want to hear from all of the residents in the surrounding areas within 0.5 mile radius of that open space. We recognize that the Second Ward is one of the areas in the city that doesn't have a county park. And for that matter, I don't believe it has a public park, period, that is owned and operated by either the municipality or by the county. And that open space presents a good opportunity with input from our residents to have a very good recreational space for the enjoyment of the people in the Second Ward, but the people of the city in particular. And FEMA. I want to talk about FEMA for a minute and flood mitigation. The FEMA flood mitigation is related to homes that are within a certain elevation. It's related basically to home elevation. And so those who live in areas that FEMA has designated as eligible for flood mitigation funds will receive a mailing about an informational session the city is having for residents to learn about these funds. The city will be applying for this federal grant on behalf of the eligible residents. FEMA designates which properties are eligible, and the mailing has been targeted to those properties only. Now, the mailing was sent out, I believe, last Friday, and so these residents might have already received that mailing. There will be an informational session which will be held on January 13th at 7 p.m. at the PPAC. And I want to state again that it's FEMA who has determined, based on the elevation of certain homes, which homes are in the impacted area and which homes will be eligible for funding. But we want to encourage all of our residents to come out and be a part of that informational session. Those of you that have received the mailing, you are highly encouraged to come out at the PPAC. And finally, I want to just talk about the Office of Homeless Prevention. We have decided that given the situation of so many people who are spiraling into homelessness, that we needed as a municipality to do something about it. And with that in mind, we are creating the Office of Homeless Prevention here in the city. Seeing the need for homeless prevention, we have created a new office which will be in our Health and Social Services Department, and that is known as the Office of Homeless Prevention. There's a press release that I believe went out this evening, and the job of the social worker to staff this office has been posted on the city's website. So I encourage those of you who believe you might be qualified for this position to go onto our website and to put your application in. We've been working with our grant writers to apply for relevant grants to fund this office and the resources the office can offer to those who will be in need of such services. So this is something that we are really looking to begin in the early part of 2025. Our goal is to do all that we can to prevent people from spiraling into homelessness. And Mr. President and council members, that ends my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. We'll just have an opportunity for anyone who wants to discuss the improvements in Hannah Atkins Park to speak now. The floor is open. You'll have 3 minutes for public comment regarding the Hannah Atkins improvements. You want to speak regarding that? Yes. All right, come on. Name and address for the record.
How you doing? Abraham Salmon, 727 Garden Street. And I'm part of a calisthenics team right here in Plainfield. And we don't have a home. We have to go to other towns to work out when we have competitions. We're in Piscataway, we're in Greenbrook. So, you know, with the improvements here, I just wanted to read our mission statement real fast. And let me just pull it up, sorry for this. Just find my notes. Okay, here we go. The purpose of this proposal is to inspire men, women, and children to better themselves through mental and physical endurance, training at a level where they feel comfortable yet inspired by our team through old school, full-on physical training with their own body weight. Body weight training is the safest and most efficient method to gain strength and confidence through physical fitness. A park will allow members of the community who may not be able to afford gym memberships to exercise in their own community for free with unlimited access. A calisthenics park in Plainfield will be great for our youth in the community. We have body weight programs we can share with community. Every Sunday, we have Sunday service. Actually, we used to have it at In-N-Out Bail Bonds when it was right there. It used to be about 20, 30 guys, men and women out there working out. So every Sunday, we have Sunday service, which the whole team comes out and trains with the community, and children are always welcome to come and train. And we ask about, you know, they ask questions about calisthenics, weight loss, cardio, and endurance. So our brand is, and our team is Team Easy Money right here in Plainfield. And our other friend, FOE, Friends Over Everything, we came into this calisthenics community, and we're just looking for somewhere to call home, and we can have our competitions here, right here in Plainfield. Thank you.
Thank you. Sounds like a great idea. Name and address.
Nancy Pivovar, 1129 Myrtle Avenue, about Hannah Atkins Park.
Yes.
So does that mean that everything that's there is going to be leveled, the pool's going to be taken out and then replaced, and the building with Mrs. Atkins' name on it, is that going to be demolished? And also the retaining walls that are along the side on Plainfield Avenue. The only thing that I would request as someone that passes by is to make, if you're going to keep some of that building or the retaining wall, make it more colorful and don't make it look so urban, because right now it's not very pleasant looking. And, you know, I'm not a kid anymore, but like I would think that kids would like bright colors and, you know, don't make it look so urban. But, and is the pool going to be replaced?
I'll get that question asked for. I don't know if urban's the right word, but I understand the colorful, the vividness, brightness, certainly. You want to address that?
Yeah, so the two questions or the two comments that were posed, I will ask Director Dabney to address the second one. The first one I will address. I think that your comment is very timely, given not only are we transforming these recreational spaces in our parks, but there is a project that will be done, I believe, sometime early to mid 2025, where there will be an outdoor gym at the skate park, Madison Avenue. There'll be an outdoor gym. It's all designed. The only thing we're waiting on is the okay from Green Acres or from the DEP because of an environmental study that they have insisted on us having. In spite of the fact that it is already an existing park, the fact that we're making enhancements, we have to have this study. And so upon completion of that study, you will have that space that you're asking for. Second question, Owen.
Yes, as far as the question with regards to testing. Yes, the only thing that's going to be placed over there right now is the pool. Okay, there'll be other phases of that park to be done in the future. But right now, that's just what the composition size, competitive, I should say, inclusive playground. That's all that's going to be placed there, a new playground. The old one's coming out and the new one's going in. Okay, completely inclusive playground for everyone. So it's positive. But yeah, just future plans for the park as we move forward too. Okay, but that's all that's happening right now at this point in time.
Okay.
Hi, Bonnie Chambliss, 12270 East Front Street, Plainfield, New Jersey. I had a question about what actual equipment will be there, because I heard handicap parking, I heard handicap tables, but will there actually be equipment that a child, let's say, who's in a wheelchair can play with? And the second question is soft playground ground environmentally dangerous or something? I love the fact that it's green, but I do know that the trend is to use the ground, that if the child falls, it will absorb the impact of the fall. And I see them doing that around different cities, changing the bottom. Third, we have a lot of pools in Plainfield, and I love that because I think black kids should swim. But is there any plans to put a spray park somewhere? Thank you.
Yes, to answer your question in terms of the park itself, there's definitely plans for a spray park. That's going to be at Rushmore. It's going to be a major park. It's going to be beautiful. I think it's going to be one of the best in the state when it's all said and done. It's going to be a spray park, competition-sized pool, new building with lockers, showers, etc., everything in it. So it's going to be a great project. It's scheduled to open in late spring of '25. So yes, we're going to be moving with that. That's definitely going to happen. And as far as what you mentioned about the other park, Hannah Atkins, yes, that's going to be a completely inclusive playground. That means for everyone. Wheelchair accessibility, everything, from the street into the park. And we're going to put in the community room, family restroom, along with the men and women's room, restroom, to make it better. And the porous ground surface is rubberized. It's a rubberized surface that so no one can never get hurt, okay, for everything. But it's a completely inclusive playground that has all the amenities for everyone, whether you're handicapped or not, but it's for everyone. So to touch on everything. So everything we're doing is to make it better for everyone, with each park as we go along. So.
Thank you for your input, Director. Is there anyone online?
No one with their hand raised.
Okay, thank you. All right, public hearing on Hannah Atkins is now closed. We'll next have Councilwoman Julian Cherry to present. Champs are here.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I like that. So tonight I have the honor and privilege to acknowledge an amazing group of individuals. I didn't say boys, because there's one female on this team. Girls rock. So I want to also acknowledge the board, the parents, and then also the coaches. And I'm going to name the coaches by name. First, I'm going to ask Ms. Tanea Owens to come up. The president, Anthony Broy. Vice president, head coach June Swinton. Assistant head coach Paul Johnson. Offensive coach Carlton Bino. Defensive coach Shaquem Thomas. Chris Brown. And Darnell Reed. Okay. So being a team mom and my husband being a coach, I know exactly what it takes to really run a football team. I know the efforts, the time, the energy, the resources, and the love that you pour into these kids. And so tonight I wanted to make sure I acknowledge their hard efforts because they had a flawless season, 8-0. Woo! So I won't read the entire resolution, but I'll read key notes in here. So whereas the Plainfield Titans 10U team achieved an extraordinary milestone during the 2024 season, completing an undefeated 8-0 regular season, culminating in a triumphant victory over the Edison Jets with a score of 28-7 at the Edison High School on November 10th to win the Central Jersey Pop Warner Championship. Whereas the victory of the testament of the team's resilience, skill, and determination, particularly as many of these athletes overcame a heartbreak of a triple overtime playoff during the prior season. Whereas the offense that's led by quarterback Noah Allen, you here? Come on up here, Noah. Supported by the dynamic group of players, and when I call your name, come on up. Dynamic group of players contributing to both sides of the ball, including Carter Rourke, Hakeem Nelson, Trey Huff, Jaden Ferguson, Josiah Vance, Tawa Boyd, Mason Brown, Jatire Joseph, Byrus Jackson, Jordan Reed, Michael Williams, Keon McCall Carter, Kevon McCall Carter, Zion Ward, provided balance and explosive playmaking during the entire season. So whereas there is one female, her name is Ariana Gamble. She was the team's exceptional female player. She inspired many with her contributions as both a defensive tackle and running back, providing an exclusive and strength of the Plainfield Titans program. So, whereas the Titans benefited from the steadfast support and organization of their president, Tanea Owens, Vice President Anthony, team mom, Sophia Shelton. You hear team mom? No. Okay. Sophia Shelton, whose tireless efforts ensure the smooth operation of the program. So therefore, be it resolved by the Plainfield City Council, County of Union, State of New Jersey, the Plainfield 10U Titans team, its players and coaches supported and hereby commend you for exceptionally accomplishments during the 2024 season and for bringing pride and inspiration to the city of Plainfield. I'm going to allow Ms. Tanea, the president, to say a few words, and then I'm going to invite my council colleagues and the mayor to come for a picture.
I just want to say thank you to Julie Cherry and everyone on the city council board and the mayor, and we're just going to keep going.
That's right.
Say it again, right? That's sure is. That's right. Get him going, right?
So heartwarming. All right, let's get back to business. All right, regarding ordinance for tonight, we have MC 2024-61 through MC 2024-64, which are scheduled for public hearing and final passage for the regular meeting as advertised. We now move on to resolutions. Start with the legislative body items, 445-24 to 446-24. Do we have a consensus to add these items to the voting meeting?
Yes.
All right, any items we wish to take off the consent agenda for legislative body? Okay. All those in favor for a consensus, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition or abstentions? Okay, those shall be added to the voting meeting. We'll move to the mayor business administrator items. Would the BA please present her items?
Yes, thank you, Council President. I only have one item for you this evening, and that is the renewal of our contract with Delta Dental, who provide dental insurance for our active and retirees. You'll notice there is a 2.87% increase in rates. It's about $1.79 per person per month. And that's the only item I have this evening.
Okay, any questions from council colleagues?
That's Council President. One question? So
Sure.
dental is completely separate from the HIF?
Completely separate.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Dental and vision are both separate.
Okay. All right, hearing no other questions, do we have a consensus to add this item to the voting meeting?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
any opposition or abstentions? Okay, those shall be added. Department of Finance, please present your items.
Council President, I have 8 items for your approval. First one is resolution authorizing the execution of an agreement between Mercury Public Affairs, and this is to give us access to federal grants. Second one is resolution authorizing funding for the continuation of an agreement between City of Plainfield and PE GIF, and this is for our annual renewal for various types of insurance. Then resolution authorizing transfers between current year 2024 appropriations of general fund. And this is our resolution which we do November and December of each year to affect transfers between different accounts that might have additional monies or that might need monies. 451-24, resolution authorizing approval to amend current year municipal budget by inserting 4 items of revenue. This is our Chapter 159. 452-24, resolution authorizing approval to amend current year 2024 municipal budget by inserting 4 items of revenue and appropriation from LFRF. This is a reappropriation of ARPA funds from 2022 and 2023 to 2024, so that we make sure that we appropriate all of the funds that were allocated to the city. 453-24, resolution authorizing the tax refunds on properties per the attached schedule. This is for 1 overpayment, 1 duplicate payment, and 1 new assessment that was done, and the taxes were lower. Resolution 454-24, resolution authorizing the cancellation of erroneous tax sale certificate. There were 2 properties with very similar numbers, and 1 number was just entered incorrectly, but it was caught on the same day of the tax sale, and the correction was made on the same day. And finally, Resolution 455-24, resolution authorizing the approval to cancel taxes in the amount of $7,570.08, and this is for 100% disabled veteran exemption. Are there any questions?
That's what I want to know. Any questions from council colleagues on any of these items? Okay, do we have consensus to add them to the voting meeting?
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition or abstentions? Okay, thank you, Director. These shall be added. The Department of Police, please present your items.
Good evening, Council President.
Good evening.
I have 5 items for the council's consideration. 456-24, resolution authorizing approval to apply and accept the 2024 New Jersey Drive Sober or Get Pulled Over year-end holiday crackdown. That starts basically on December 6th through January 1st of 2025. This information is already on the city's website because we're ready to start and get it rolling. It will also be on separate message boards throughout the city to educate the public that we are conducting this campaign. Also, if we pull over drivers, we also will hand out literature in regards to the dangers of driving while intoxicated. So it's an overreaching campaign that we're doing this year for the holiday season. Now, moving on to the next one is R 457-24. That is to enter an agreement with PASCAC Data Services for cybersecurity, sonic walls, firewall switches, hardware and support for the Plainfield Police and Fire Department not to exceed $74,961.55. This is upgrades basically to the 911 system that we have in the basement and also to the firewalls with all of our law enforcement computers that we have in this building. We have to secure all of these things according to the New Jersey State Police guidelines. So this is updating stuff that we have. A lot of our systems are end of life. So we are changing a lot of the switches and things out and making necessary improvements. 458-24 is a resolution for grant funding to support the Plainfield Police Department's community events for next year. This includes the Queen City Mentoring Academy Program, National Night Out, and Faith in Blue, not to exceed $75,000. 459-24 is a resolution to enter into a contract with Folletta Masonry for emergency interior step repairs that we have to make in the police department. One of the steps in the department is completely broken, and we have to make repairs to that step. So we need a certain type of mason to do it, considering the age of this building. So that's what this is for. And 460 is a resolution to enter into a contract agreement with Above All Lines to remodel and renovate the men's bathroom locker room that's in the basement of this building for $27,700. We are upgrading every bathroom in the building. With this, we will complete all of the bathrooms on the police side of the building. Next year, we will move on to the bathrooms here on the municipal side for the municipal court, and that's all I have.
Any questions from council colleagues?
Council President?
Yes.
One quick question.
Sure.
I know these renovations are crucial. Do you see any more renovations that need to be done? Because I know the council did pass the resolution saying that we're going to do a whole entire new building. So anything else that's, pressing issues that need to be renovated?
Well, it depends. The building, the age of the building presents numerous problems. So it's a 24-hour building. It's open 24 hours a day. So it's kind of hard to say what we may need. So we generally keep maintenance funding going every year to keep up parts of this building. We do have an HVAC project that's coming up. We do have other issues down there in the computer room that we will be fixing as time goes on. But outside of those things, the building's in pretty good shape. We've made a lot of repairs to this building over the last 4 years, and as you can see by looking at it. So there's still some things we have to do, but nothing stands out at this time that I can think of off the top of my head. But like I said, it's a building that is open 24 hours a day, so there will always be repairs that we have to make in it.
All right, thank you.
So I similarly am hopeful for a new municipal complex, which hopefully would have significantly less upkeep because of the newness of that proposed building. But, I mean, I guess, we still have no choice but to maintain what we have while it's there. So, but hopefully we can cut down on those costs in the future by making investments in our infrastructure. So thank you for working on that as well.
Thank you, sir.
Do we have consensus to add these items to the voting meeting?
Yes.
Yes.
Any opposition or abstentions? Okay. Those shall be added to the voting meeting. The Department of Public Works, Director?
Good evening, Mr. Council President, members of the council. The Department of Public Works has 4 resolutions to present. Resolution R46124, authorizing the city of Plainfield to submit. And this right here, I'd like to amend, if possible, some of the language. The city of Plainfield to apply, accept, submit an application in an amount not to exceed up to $4.5 million to support the Milt Campbell Field Detention Basin. This 4.5 was here because that's what we applied for, but based on what we're going to receive, that number should change to $250,000 at the current time through the Department of Community Affairs. So it's just want to amend that to reflect the numbers that we're going to receive.
Okay. So you want that to be amended?
Yes,
You want us to
reflect
pass
that
that as
number.
amended? Okay.
Yes, because for the flood mitigation, we're going to get 250. We applied for 4.5, but we'll just continue to apply to the DCA for more funding to offset costs for the detention basin work. Resolution 462, there's 24 resolutions authorized the city of Plainfield to submit the Environmental Protection Green Acres Program through Jake's Law, which you just so met to make it the thorough presentation, and it not to exceed a number of $610,730 for the Han Atkins Parks projects enabling resolution. This is for the Jake's Law Playground. Resolution R46324, resolution authorized the change order, release of performance bond, retainage, and final payment. This was for work done at Astor Place and Lyman Place, and we had a $55,000 reduction in the number, and that's due to the as-built materials being less and also the amount of police personnel that we didn't need for the project. So this is for that, for road improvements, and that's the release of the 2-year maintenance bond for the Astor Place and Lyman Street Roadway Improvements Project, Crossroads Paving Company. And Resolution 464-24, resolution authorizes execution of a grant agreement with the State of New Jersey Department of Transportation for the Safe Route to School improvements at 5 intersections, something that we can wait to see happen. So there's 5 intersections that are going to be done, and the 5 intersections for the record is West Front Street and Grant Ave, West Front Street and Park Ave, West 9th Street and Arlington Avenue, Washington Avenue and Carnegie Ave, and Willard Avenue and Central Avenue. And this is going to be major upgrades to catch basins, inlets, the curbing, handicap ramps, rapid flashing beacon lights on Woodland and Central Avenue. And also, we're going to do brick patterns that are the crosswalks on brick pattern. So everything for the safety of the children at all these 5 intersections. And that's pretty much it.
Sounds good. Any questions from council colleagues?
Yes,
I have a
just one
question.
question. I'm sorry.
No. You said a question?
Just a point of
I have a question,
clarity
thank you.
on the language that you said for the R461-24. What was the language that you used? You said it needed to be updated?
Yes, I just want to say apply and accept, okay, up to $4.5 million, submit in the grant application for the project.
Essentially, we're looking for authorization to apply for 4.5, and then we believe we're going to be getting about 258,000 awarded to us. So we want to clarify, apply for 4.5 and accept 258,000.
Okay.
Well, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Director.
Councilwoman Cherry?
Thank you. It's for R461-24. Let me be the first to say thank you, Director Dabney, for that area. You know, I live in that area, so I know that this is definitely needed. Once you apply and accept, what's the time frame? Do you think that?
Well, the funding, I think we'll have it, should be real soon. The funding's coming to us, so pretty much here, so. It's just a matter of just revising everything that we got to submit back, that we're going to accept the number, the 250,000 number.
Okay, so you're thinking like
For mitigation.
spring or summer?
I think within the next few months, we should have everything ready to go.
Thank you.
Any others?
Council President, first, Director, I want to say thank you. I think anytime any department comes back with a savings for the city, we should be grateful for that because that's money that's returning back to the taxpayer. So again, I want to say thank you for that. I also want to acknowledge this safe routes to school. We know that the community has stressed some concerns about the safety of the children as they go to and fro school. So I am very appreciative of these opportunities to improve those areas for the safety of our children. So I want to acknowledge that also. Is there an ETA? And if I apologize if that was the ETA Councilwoman Cherry asked about. It was? Okay, then you can strike that part.
Okay, was that, yours was flood mitigation, right?
I
Flood
thought
thing.
hers
But
was-
you mentioned safe route to school.
Yeah.
Well, yes, ETA for that. We're looking to go out, put everything together, specification, and go out to bid in January. So I guess with the timeline, late spring, we should start doing getting something going with the work in terms of those intersections. And we're going to try to work it out without interrupting the school when we do that, like starting when they are in school and stopping, when it's time to get out, let out. So that's how we're going to try to work that out.
Thank you, Director.
Welcome.
Okay. Anyone else?
I have a question. For that safe routes, are you including charter schools in this?
Well, this was something that was done going back in time. So this involved the police department, the DEP, everyone was involved when we put this out there. So to answer your question, down the road, if some more safe routes to school funds come about, then we can do, I guess they didn't single out what schools had to be done. But this was done with the Board of Education going back in time, like years ago, for these intersections that were chosen here. So this is your question, I guess. I don't see a reason why a charter school wouldn't be a part of it in the future, if that happens.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, first, can we have a motion to amend R461-24 with the language that, BA, can you just restate that language so we can, you mind?
It would be to apply for the 4.5 and accept the 258,000? 250,000.
Okay.
Apply for 4.5, accept 250.
Can we have that, a motion to amend that?
So moved.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any oppositions or abstentions? Okay, 461-24 is amended. Now, do we have a consensus to add that to the voting meeting?
Yes.
Yes.
Any opposition or abstentions? Okay, added to the voting meeting. Department of Economic Development, good evening.
Good evening, Council President. Good evening, Council. I have items 465-24 through 473-24. So the first resolution is to apply for and accept a grant for up to $4 million. This would be for the Center of Excellence. It's from the Department of Community Affairs. This would be for both professional services and for construction. The next resolution is to increase an existing contract that we have with Think Wilder to use another source of funds. The contract vendor would not exceed the amount of approximately $213,000. The next resolution is also to increase a contract vendor. This is for Remington Vernick Engineering. For what I didn't mention was the previous resolution, that's for architectural service for the Center of Excellence. The next two resolutions are for engineering services for the Center of Excellence. The first, Remington Vernick, this is for our mechanical, electrical, and plumbing engineer. Then CME Associates, which is to have a contract or authorized for $75,000 for engineering services for the Center of Excellence. This is for structural engineering. The next resolution, looking at 469-24, this is for our Niswain Group contract. This is for our redevelopment planner. This is to increase their current contract, which is $125,000 to $150,000. This is for additional services for the city related to redevelopment. 470-24, this is to do a non-condemnation redevelopment study for 204 Spooner Avenue. Looking at 471-24, this is to designate Brown's Funeral Home as a redeveloper for 122-30 Plainfield Avenue. This is to allow Brown's Funeral Home to expand their ceremony service as well as their parking area. Then the next resolution is to authorize an amendment to 768-900 North Avenue. It also includes the parking lot across the street, 336 Johnson Avenue. This is to amend their current redevelopment agreement to adjust the timeline related to construction, as well as include additional members in their urban LLC, Urban Renewal LLC. And the last resolution, 473-24, this is to apply and accept a grant for an environmental climate justice community change grant for up to $20 million. This will allow us to partner with a developer as well as King University to develop a sustainable institute for workforce development, as well as other developments. And that concludes my presentation. Any questions?
Questions from council members?
Yes.
Councilwoman Cherry?
Yes, what is the timeline for the Center of Excellence to start?
It will start this 2025 in the spring.
Spring?
Mm-hmm.
And has any of the amenities changed in terms of like some of the services that you'll be providing?
No, so the programs that were originally presented, and it's still on our website for the final report, which includes a competition pool, a cafe, multi-purpose space, classroom space, a basketball court, a fitness area, a commercial kitchen, and so forth.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, go
Council
right ahead.
President, 465-24, the $4 million.
Mhm.
Is there a required in-kind match?
No match is required.
Excellent, thank you.
Any others?
Yes,
Councilman Wyatt?
two questions. Do we have an estimate of how much the Center of Excellence will be? I know before we were waiting on that.
Right, we have an excellent estimate right now. What we're working on is the final agreement with the developer. Once we have that firm number and they are aware, we will release the number.
Okay, and the second question is the 204 Spooner Avenue. I looked that up, so I know the house says 204, but I know it's a lot right next door to that, so I assume it's the lot next door. Are we looking to build homes there? Is that the thought process?
Yeah, it is the vacant property that's there. We are looking to do mixed use, but again, this is a study.
Okay, thank you.
Any other council colleagues?
Question.
Sure.
And the 470-24 for the Spooner Avenue, you said look for the study. It's going to be brought before the planning board, right? Correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right, do we have consensus to add these items to the voting meeting?
Yes.
Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition or abstentions? Okay, this shall be added to the voting meeting. The Department of Health and Social Services, Director, good evening.
Thank you. Good evening, Council President and Council. Resolution 474-24 is a resolution recognized in January 2025 as National Modern Day Slavery and Human Trafficking Prevention Month. I know for many years we have put forward this recognition, and it's a difficult title for many to read, but indeed it is something that exists in this world. And a couple years ago, we actually had a human trafficking challenge here in Plainfield. Our recognition is simply that, to recognize that this odious multi-billion-dollar business exists in the world, and that people are either being trafficked for illicit reasons, or they're being held in what is called modern-day slavery, which means that they could be working and their passports can be taken. That's called labor. And they're not given those passports back and they have to work. So there's many different situations like that that exist in the world and in this country and in this state. One of the things that we in this field are looking at is FIFA 2026, particularly around when you have big sports events, human trafficking and sex trafficking happens. And so we just want to let the city know and let the world know, actually, that we are aware of this and we are working with everyone we can to make sure that we can reduce it. I won't say prevent. That's a big thing to say, but certainly to bring education and attention to it. And every month we do various activities to bring attention within the city as well. Resolution 475-24, we are withdrawing it and we will resubmit it in January of 2025. Resolution R 476-24 is to enter into contract with Bensky and Snyder to replace compressors at the senior center. We, in sections of the center, is without heat, and so this is an emergency situation. The same is true for Resolution 477-24 to enter the contract with Bensky and Snyder for an emergency boiler. There's 3 boilers that need to be replaced. The building is 150 years, and I think those boilers are probably 50 or 60 years old at this point. So we have tried to patch them, but at this point they need to be replaced. And the heat is out in one of the sections of the building. R 478-24 is resolution authorizing the rejection of proposals for COVID-19 and other vaccination. It's an RFP that we're rejecting, which is customary. And R 479-24 is awarding an award to Strategic Health Solutions. There's a process they have to go to in order to get accredited so that they can be our vaccination. They do their mobile vaccination, and they were the lowest bid. And $180,000 is paid through a grant. And those are my resolutions. Any questions?
Any questions from council members? Councilwoman Cherry?
Yes, R 474-24. First, thank you so much for bringing this resolution forward. What do the activities look like?
So often we do training. Over the previous years, we had some houses of worship that asked us to do training, and we do find ways to provide that. We certainly do social media posts, and we do some just informational pamphlets and stuff like that. Basically, that's it. We are very open to doing training and bringing attention and highlight to the situation.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay. Okay, do we have consensus to add this to the voting meeting?
Yes.
Yes.
Any opposition or abstentions? Okay, it should be added. Department of Solid Sewer and Solid Waste. Good evening.
Good evening, Council President, Council. I have one resolution for your consideration tonight, 480-24. Resolution authorizing the purchase of one new John Deere backhoe from Jesco, not to exceed $153,482. This is a piece of equipment that's used to process the debris at our Rock Avenue site.
Questions from council members? Okay, do we have consensus to add this to the voting meeting?
Yes.
Any opposition or abstentions? Okay, that completes it. Our voting meeting will resume in 5 minutes.
Recording stopped. Recording in progress.
Okay, we will resume our business. We now move on to consideration of public hearing, second reading and final passage. Madam Deputy, please read MC 2024-61 by title and further certify that it is complied with all statutory requirements.
MC 2024-61 is an ordinance to establish parking enforcement zones in residential areas. It is hereby certified that notice of a public hearing on this ordinance was published in the Courier News on November 15th, 2024.
Okay, the floor is now open to any member of the public that would like to speak regarding MC 2024-61 specifically. The floor is now open. Anyone online?
No one with their hand raised.
Okay. Okay, public hearing is now closed. May I have a motion to adopt this ordinance on second reading and final passage? And if adopted,
So moved.
Second.
clerk, may we have a roll call?
Roll call MC 2024-61, council members Briggs Jones.
Yes.
Cherry.
Yes.
McCray.
Yes.
Sessoms.
Yes.
Wyatt.
Yes.
Vice President Graham.
Yes.
Council President Hockaday.
Yes.
That is unanimous. This ordinance has been adopted on second reading and final passage.
Thank you. Madam Deputy, please read MC 2024-62 by title and certify that it's complied with the law.
MC 2024-62 is an ordinance of the City of Plainfield, County of Union, New Jersey, adopting the Home Ownership Small Lots Redevelopment Plan dated November 7th, 2024. It is hereby certified that notice of a public hearing on this ordinance was published in the Courier News on November 15th, 2024.
Okay, the floor is now open to anyone that would like to speak regarding MC 2024-62 specifically. The floor is now open. Name and address for the record. All right, not seeing anyone in the gallery, no one online. I am closing public comment. I'll now entertain a motion and a second to adopt this ordinance. Clerk, roll call.
Roll call MC 2024-62, council members Briggs Jones.
Yes.
Cherry.
Yes.
McCray.
Yes.
Sessoms.
Yes.
Wyatt.
Yes.
Vice President Graham.
Yes.
Council President Hockaday.
Yes.
That is unanimous. This ordinance has been adopted on second reading and final passage.
Thank you, Madam Deputy. Please read MC 2024-63 by title and certify its compliance with the law.
MC 2024-63 is an ordinance of the City of Plainfield, County of Union, New Jersey, adopting the 11th Amendment to the 197 Scattered Sites Redevelopment Plan dated November 7th, 2024. It is hereby certified that notice of a public hearing on this ordinance was published in the Courier News on November 15th, 2024.
Okay, the floor is now open to any member of the public that would like to speak regarding MC 2024-63 specifically. The floor is now open. Hearing and seeing none, both online and in the gallery, I'll close public comment and entertain a motion in a second to adopt this ordinance on second reading and final passage.
So moved.
Second.
Clerk, may we have a roll call?
Roll call MC 2024-63, council members Briggs Jones.
Yes.
Cherry.
Yes.
McCray.
Yes.
Sessoms.
Yes.
Wyatt.
Yes.
Vice President Graham.
Yes.
Council President Hockaday.
Yes.
That is unanimous. This ordinance has been adopted on second reading and final passage.
Thank you. That shall be published as required by law. Madam Clerk, please read MC 2024-64 and certify its legal compliance.
MC 2024-64 is an ordinance of the City of Plainfield in the County of Union granting a tax exemption with respect to certain property identified on the city's tax map as Block 824, lots 24, 25, and 26, and designated in the city's tax records as 228-236 East 9th Street, Plainfield, New Jersey, and authorizing the execution of a financial agreement with Golden Circle Urban Renewal, LLC. It is hereby certified that notice of a public hearing on this ordinance was published in the Courier News on November 15th, 2024.
I'm opening the floor for any member of the public that would like to speak regarding this ordinance specifically. 3 minutes. Hearing and seeing none, online, or in the gallery. I'm closing public comment and entertaining a motion and a second to adopt this ordinance on second reading and final passage. And if adopted, it should be published as required by law.
So move.
Roll call, please.
Question?
Okay, go ahead.
Just a quick question. In the backup documentation and the application submitted by Golden Circle Urban Renewal, the exhibit schedule and the exhibits say pending. So can we do an agreement if they don't have, the business entity does not have the complete paperwork?
Director of Economic Development will address.
So what is pending right now is the urban renewal. At that time, they were applying to go from a regular LLC to an urban renewal. They have their urban renewal entity. That's why I
So
said
they have that
pending. When you did the first reading, they were not an urban renewal. It was pending.
It was pending then, okay.
Okay,
Thank you.
any further questions? Okay, may we have a roll call?
Roll call MC 2024-64. Council members Briggs Jones,
No.
Cherry,
Yes.
McCray,
Yes.
Sessoms,
Yes.
Wyatt,
No.
Vice President Graham, Yes. Council President Hockenay.
Yes.
5 in favor, 2 opposed. Ordinance has been adopted on second reading and final passage.
Okay, Madam Clerk, would you, oh, no, is that it? It's the last one. Okay. We now move on to public comments limited to resolutions and motions being considered this evening. We don't have any of those, do we? So we'll skip that. Okay. Mr. Clerk, please announce.
Public comments on the resolutions.
A total of 30 minutes has been allocated for public comments, limited to resolutions being considered this evening. Each speaker will be given 3 minutes. Come on. Name and address for the record. This is public comment for resolutions and motions considered this evening.
I'm not used to being the only one. I'm confused. Resolution 465 through 468, and it actually may include 469, but I'm not sure. All having to do with the YMCA, which somehow got named the Center of Excellence. I thought Center of Excellence came when the YMCA was going to be a recreational center, as was promised in the town. I also recall over 200 apartments being approved for the YMCA/Center of Excellence. So I'm confused. I believe we bought it for $5,000. I'm seeing roughly another 5,000. We wish 5 million. I see roughly another 5 million or close to it. So we're at 10 million plus whatever else went into it. Is it apartments with a small gymnasium in it, or is it primarily a recreational center? But 200 apartments is pretty big. So that's my confusion. That's all I have to say.
Okay. When we close public comment, I will allow the Director of Economic Development to clear any confusion up. I see none. Anyone else online? Okay.
Yes.
Public comment in person is closed. Online speaker, please state your name and address for the record and the resolution you're speaking regarding.
They're still muted. Caller, you need to unmute yourself.
Okay, we can hear you.
The YouTube stream,
Brenda Gilbert,
we can hear you.
1208 East Front Street. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. My one question I have, I guess, is that are the people involved with the different development corporations, the names of those that are part of those development corporations, I just wondered if that is available to the public. My second thing is to Mr. Brown. He spoke about human trafficking, and I don't know if this is at all possible, but just listening to that and thinking of what is happening in terms of housing in Plainfield and seeing what is going on, I don't know if there's some way where that particular ordinance that you put forth, or that particular, I guess, oh, I got to get my words straight here now. You were talking about the human trafficking situation, if at all that could be somewhere a partnership done with the inspection department. And I tell you why I say that, because in some of these situations, in some of these houses where there's overcrowding and stuff like that, those kinds of things may well be going on. And I don't know how we as a city could address it or even locate it or be I guess, be the agency that would deal with that. But I do feel that there might be something that might could happen in terms of prevention if there was some type of partnership program that could be done with this program of human trafficking and the situation of overcrowding in some of these houses with inspection, because when inspection sees a lot of overcrowding, there's a possibility that might be going on. So I don't know if there's a way that could be some kind of partnership done in that program, but I just thought I'd put that forward. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Anyone else online? Okay. Public comment is now closed. Mr. Clerk, would you please announce the consent agenda?
Yes, Council President, the consent agenda items have been identified as resolutions 445-24 through 480-24. 475-24 has been removed, and 461-24 has been amended.
Thank you. May I have a motion to approve the consent agenda? Oh, you were supposed to answer something, weren't you? I'll get back to you.
So we get to respond.
Yeah, I'll get, as soon as we do this, I'll come right back. Sorry.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Actually, let's have a roll call on that.
Let's roll call on the consent agenda items. Council members Briggs Jones?
Yes.
Cherry?
Yes.
McCray?
Yes.
Sessoms?
Yes.
Wyatt?
See.
Vice President Graham? Yes. Council President Hockaday?
Yes.
The consent agenda items have been approved.
Okay, thank you. Director Fields, go right ahead with your response. I'm sorry.
Okay, did you want to respond? Sure.
Is it okay if I respond?
Yes, it is.
Okay. To the resident that called, training for the inspection division is an excellent idea.
Okay.
Okay. So to answer the question about resolutions 465 through 468. The Center of Excellence itself is the 55,000 square feet YMCA building. That will be a recreation center and a enrichment center, all 55,000 square feet. The program is available online. The program is going to include the competition pool. It's going to include a basketball court. It's going to include a running track, indoor turf field, multi-purpose fitness room, multi-purpose event space. Is going to include a cafe, a rock climbing wall, and it is going to be a separate LEED certified building, separate from the mixed-use residential that's going to be behind it. That's going to be included in the block and lot parcel. And those mixed-use residential is going to be 100% affordable, but it is completely separate from the 55,000 square feet recreational building. All of these grants that were listed, 100% go towards the recreational space.
Okay. Thank you for the response. Okay, so we have non-consent agenda items. Could you please read those? We don't? We don't have any. All right. Okay, well, we'll move to general comments. A total of 30 minutes has been allocated for all public comments. Each speaker will be given 3 minutes. Name and address for the record. You can address any topic at all. If you are online, you can call in. The number is on the city website.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Larry Cohen. I'm a volunteer animal advocate living at 24 McLennan Place in Fanwood. I'm here tonight to ask you to pass a resolution in support of State Bill S-2511 A-4051, which would make it illegal in New Jersey for pet stores, shelters, and rescues to sell dogs, cats, or rabbits from commercial breeders. 149 towns in New Jersey and 8 other states have already passed similar legislation aimed at a cruel puppy mill industry that breeds animals in inhumane conditions and then exports them to other states to be sold to unsuspecting consumers. Having written to you about this twice, and having spoken to someone both in the mayor's office and the clerk's office, I wanted to find a way tonight to help you see the importance in acting as a council to support this state bill. And I found inspiration on your own website. In a letter dated June 24th of this year, your Director of Health and Social Services, Shep Brown, wrote a beautiful letter about the responsibility humans have for the proper care of and advocacy for animals. Here's the letter. According to Mr. Brown, quote, treating animals humanely is essential, and quote, educating all household members, especially children, about proper care and humane treatment of animals is vital. He concludes his letter in part by writing that, quote, humanely treating animals is a collective responsibility that reflects on our community's values. State Bill S-2511 A-4051 addresses Mr. Brown's concerns directly by taking New Jersey out of a system that exports the offspring of cruel and inhumane treatment of animals. What better way, in your role as part of the collective Plainfield community, to show your citizens the way towards humane treatment of animals than by acting to reflect their values through the passage of a resolution in support of this bill? I had sent you copies of the bill digitally when I emailed you, but if anybody would like a hard copy so that you could see a sample resolution that was passed by Westwood in northern New Jersey, I have it here. Would anybody like a copy?
Yes,
Hard
please
copy?
give it to our clerk so they can distribute it to the council members. Thank you. Good evening.
Marie and Sari Watchung Avenue. Thank you for the explanation before. As per the June 5th Union County Freeholder meeting, it was mandated that in order for a deer kill to occur again this year in Plainfield, Plainfield required a resolution from council. As this did not take place, we can look forward to a violence-free, bloodless, and safe season in our parks this year. It's a delightful feeling. Cedar Brook, Greenbrook, and even Cushing Basin have been the scene for the past at least 8 years for sports hunters to come in using crossbow, a brutal, brutal way to die. For our young people, 30 years of sports killing in Union County has only normalized violence and did nothing to mitigate the alleged concerns. 50% of crossbow shots are ineffective. They have a failure rate, leading to the slow, agonizing death of deer for no reason. This is government-sanctioned animal cruelty paid for by taxpayers. In contrast, permanent solutions through humane, non-lethal education are cheap, easy, readily available, with plenty of residents willing to help with that. Hunters are against this. An example, when a black bear, a second black bear, showed up last month, the wonderful Bear Group, a 501c nonprofit who did a great educational program last year for us. After a black bear was killed, the killing of that black bear left a really bad feeling in Plainfield. The police were not happy. The residents were not happy. This year, with the collaboration between PPD, we were able to get the bear to move on.
Council President.
One
Yes?
last thing.
Speaker's
if
time is
you'll
elapsed.
Allow me
Okay.
to
Thank
just say this.
Thank you.
Um,
Last sentence, okay?
Pardon?
Last sentence,
Thank
okay?
you.
Your time is
The
elapsed.
hunters have already put up the bait stations. That corn is a health hazard. It draws
thank you.
other
Thank you.
wildlife to residential
Thank you.
areas. Parkside
Ma'am,
Road
ma'am.
Thank
is
you.
Ma'am.
right there.
Thank
So,
you.
Ma'am,
thank
your speaker,
you
your time has
for the
elapsed.
moratorium, and we will expect
Ma'am, please be seated.
educational
Thank you.
services.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nancy Pugh, 1129 Myrtle Avenue. We all know that we're coming up to a new year. I wish you all a good holiday because we probably won't see each other before the next year. My family, my grandparents were immigrants. They came from Poland in the early 1900s. I grew up not knowing everything, but knowing that they were afraid to talk. Okay, my family didn't talk about it. I'm really scared for some of the immigrants in this town. I just want to make sure that some of us were talking over the weekend at parties, and a lot of us are concerned about our neighbors. We're afraid what could happen. I just want to make sure that our police department and our social services are prepared in case the worst comes to be. Hopefully it won't, but we need to be prepared. There have been other raids in this town historically where innocent people, and I'm talking back in the 1920s, where innocent people were also gathered up, you know, and they were innocent. And then they went on to serve in the military during the Palmer raids. So what I'm talking about is not something that could possibly happen, not happen, but being from a family of immigrants and knowing what they went through and what they didn't talk about, and you just felt it as a kid. And, you know, I honestly asked my sister about 5-10 years ago if we were legal, because I had no idea if my grandparents were ever naturalized. And I did find it out on Ancestry that they were, so I was relieved. But for me as an adult to even think that question, to ask my sister, because my parents never told us and my grandparents never talked about it. Personally, I'm afraid for some of my neighbors that live next door to me. And I just want to make sure the people that are on the front lines, like our police department, our fire department, are prepared. And I hope the city has some plans in place in case kids come home from school and don't have any parents at their houses. Thank you.
Good evening again. Juan A. Chambliss, 1227 East Front Street, Apartment 43B, Plainfield. First, I want to just give a shout out if they're listening to the staff over at the Performing Arts Center. Their jazz series was, well, we used to say the bomb. It was just really that good. And this last group that they had was really, really good. So I just want to say they're doing a really good job over there. So I was listening tonight, and I just want to say I'm really, really excited about the quality of life issues that have been addressed in some of these ordinances. But I just have 3 questions. The first one is for the police director. The ordinance said that this program is supposed to start December 6th, and this is December 9th. So what does that mean with that gap in terms of when it was proposed and when it actually started? What are we actually asking the council to vote on? You asking them to vote on a grant to do this, permission to do this? And if it's permission, well, what are you guys doing different than what the police would do all the time in terms of making sure that the roads are safe from people who are driving under the influence? The second question is, I'm glad to hear about a lot of the housing that's going up, but I'd like to have a definition of what exactly affordable means, what is the income threshold, and what would be the lowest apartment rent that we would consider affordable. The last one, Mayor, I like the idea that you are putting together Office of Homeless Prevention, but prevention is before you become homeless. I didn't hear anything about what's actually happened with the case that we have now. As a person who tutors at the library, it is a second home for people who are unhoused. And if I don't know you guys passed that ordinance, maybe last time that there'd be some armed security. And there has been security at the library that I have not seen before. But although I feel safe, I feel nervous because we shouldn't have to have armed security at the library. That means something needs to be addressed. And does the Office of Homeless Prevention mean that we're not going to work on an ordinance that really would prevent homelessness, and that is rent control? If you had rent control, then it would kind of reduce some of the homelessness. So while everybody is concerned about what's going to happen with immigrants, I'm concerned about people that are here and facing homelessness because they can't afford it, especially those whose parents go back to the 1870 census in the United States of America, which many of us sitting on that board have parents, grandparents, great-grandparents that can trace their roots to the 1870 census right here in the United States of America. So while I am concerned about immigrants, the Bible says charity begins at home before it spreads abroad. So I'm concerned about people that look like me that have been in Plainfield forever and now are facing rising rents that are putting them out of their town and their home.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Great comments.
Stuart Seidenstrucker. I worship at 225 Watchung Avenue as a Quaker, and I'm also a member of Wind the Spirit, and I'm here just to thank Nancy for bringing the immigrant issue, and I'm hoping that you can pass a resolution supporting ITA is the best way that New Jersey has right now to make sure that any of the agencies of this state cannot cooperate easily with immigration. There's not the way to completely avoid that, but this is the best way, and Murphy did something as far as directive, and ITA, Immigrant Trust Act, would make that a law. So I appreciate if you could work on that as soon as possible, hopefully before the inauguration happens. Thank you.
Sal Carano, 1284 East Front Street. I actually wasn't going to speak tonight, but I remembered something that was brought up this whole week. Last month, there was a little hoopla during the council meeting about bringing up events that occurred during the week. And I'm not going to address those events. I'm going to address it in this manner. This week, a CEO of a health company got shot in the back and in his head. In less than 10 minutes, the public was alerted. The public was asked to help identify the pictures of the perpetrator that did it, presumably hypothetically. Today, potentially, that person may have been caught. We have not, and I'm ignorant to this, and I'm telling you publicly, not by the fact that I don't want to learn and I don't want to be educated, but there is a sense that things are being held back, putting under the guise of it's under investigation. And it may well be. But, you know, I've been here 54 years. And when a middle-aged white guy gets shot and his face is on TV 10 minutes later, and so is the person who potentially shot him, it concerns me that in our town, we're not told when other people are getting shot right here. We're not alerted as the public. We're not educated as the public from the officials that we have hired for that job to protect us. I understand they made a call thinking that it's protecting us. But how can that happen? I can't reconcile in my head how a man who is wealthy, supporting a company, the leader of a division of a company, his face, the perpetrator, everything come out immediately, and we still don't have information on a subject matter that was brought up in this council chamber last month about other shootings and about other people being shot. If there is somewhere I need to go read, please direct me. Thank you.
Hi, name and address for the record.
Hi, my name is Marie Zangibo Gray. I live at 1131 Dorsey Place. First, I just want to thank you all for the renovations that are being done to Hannah Atkins. I am a member of the CPAC group in Plainfield, and I have a child with a disability. My daughter is amazing and wonderful, and so many other children with disabilities are also amazing and wonderful and don't have enough places where they and their families can go to feel safe and accepted. I'm so thrilled to see this, and I'm hoping that this is just the beginning and every community space in Plainfield becoming accessible and inclusive. I think that what we'll see from this is that it doesn't just benefit the families with people that have disabilities, but this is an opportunity for everyone to grow and also to be in community together. So thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Is there anyone online?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, online speaker. Name and address for the record. The floor is yours.
Good evening. My name is Sharice Coons. I live at 141 McKinley Place. Would like to say good evening to everyone. I just wanted to address again something that Mrs. Gilbert brought up, and other residents have addressed a similar issue with the council previously, and that has to do with the overcrowding that seems to happen in some of the residences around town. Many of the houses seem to be rooming houses, or they have very high occupancy. I know that, I have specifically talked about a few houses that are on my little block here on McKinley Place. And for anyone who knows McKinley Place, we're a little dead-end block. It's about 7 houses on the block. There has to be about 2 houses that seem to be rooming houses. And I just want to have an understanding or to bring to attention that the issue of overcrowding in these properties need to be addressed. It's not something that I am just mentioning today, but it's something that has been mentioned previously by other residents. And I would hope that either the inspections division or, whomever is responsible for enforcing occupancy rules within the city would start doing something about the issue. That was my comment for today. Thank you for the time.
Thank you. Anyone else online? Next online caller. Floor is yours.
Good evening. My name is Sharon Rosario, 1418 Bradford Street. I'm calling on behalf of the overcrowding and on our block here, as the other caller stated, that we have these single family homes and it seems to be broken down into 3 and 4 family apartments and the overcrowding. And we also have Wilson Auto here on our block, where the trucks come through our block at 6:30 a.m. every morning. Big 18-wheelers down stop signs. It needs to be addressed, and it's just unsafe for us here. And I need someone to come out and observe. The stop signs that you guys have put out, they've been replaced at least 4 times, if not more, since putting them out in the summertime because the 18-wheelers are trying to back into the parking, into the dock here, the very small dock. And it's a 3-way stop. And they keep knocking down the stop sign on Grace Street, trying to get into the dock area. And a few times, they almost hit the house right there, that multi-family house right there on the corner where there's, I don't even know if it's a rooming house or just a multi-family, but there seems to be a lot of activity there. And the children are trying to come in and out. This is even during the day when the company is open. The trucks are coming nonstop. And you guys have taken some of the parking away from us. And these trucks, they just constantly come through. They run stop signs. Even bus companies with children during the day run the stop signs here, from Grace to Johanna's Place, all the way to the Cow. Like, it's just nonstop. We need speed bumps here for safety. And, I can't even park in front of my house because of the trucks coming, the cars coming. No one's stopping, and they have any stop signs. So that's my concern, and that's my plight. And, I chose to move back here to Plainfield, where I'm born and raised at, and buy a property. And I'm very unhappy. I'm very unhappy. And it just seems to be, we're ignored down here on the West End. And it's not fair. Like, no one's seeing what's going on here with these companies, these trucks, the parking, the housing. It's just a lot going on. And, I pay my taxes faithfully. I upkeep my property. We strive to want to be a part of the community, but the city has forgotten about this block. So we need someone to come in and be concerned more about our block also. not just the South
Speaker's time is
Avenue,
up.
the East End.
Thank you, ma'am. Is there anyone else online? Thank you. Online caller, you are now audible. Name and address for the record. Welcome.
Brenda Gilbert, 1208 East Front Street. I wanted to go back a little bit to what I had said earlier about Mr. Brown and his human trafficking. The part of City Hall that I was talking about was the Life Task Force. If somehow or another they could come together and maybe do something together. The second thing I want to talk to, I heard what Sal and Nancy was saying in terms of comments and so forth and so on. I would hope that everybody that would come before the mic or have something to say in this council room would be respected. I too was disturbed about what happened and how the last meeting ended, because it seemed like something very simple that was said was blown out of proportion, and people was trying to grandstand and get some political points by grandstanding on something that was very, very simple. Nobody was being blamed. It was just saying these things happen. And sometimes when you're trying to keep the public from knowing something, I got news for you. Because some of y'all apparently is living behind doors. Social media is out there, people, and social media will put on there what's on there, which you don't want nobody to know, because the young person, one of the young persons that got shot, the parent got on social media and wrote a long whatever about what occurred. So whatever somebody was trying to hide, it didn't work, because that parent got on social media and let it be known what was going on. So it would be behooving to all of you that if something happened, if at all possible, to, if nothing else, but to mention that this happened and is being taken care of in very simple terms and not being blown out of proportion, that's fine. You know what I'm saying? But if somebody's saying, this happened and, we as a community, we can do better, because we all can do better. Safety is a problem everywhere you go, not just in the city of Plainfield. And we all can do better. That's not saying that our police department, our police director that I love dearly, is not doing their job. But none of us are perfect. And we all can do better, and we all can be reminded of that from time to time. So I'm just saying, let us respect each and every person, whether you agree with me or not. Because this is where I grew up. You may not have grown up here. So there's an attachment that I have that's emotional and passionate. You may not be emotional and passionate about the town. And if they put a swimming pool in the middle of town.
Thank you. Okay. Were there any outstanding items that we needed to address?
No, but I would like to say something, if you will, Council President.
Oh, yeah, 1 second. That was to the directors, though. I was asking
thank
them. Were they? Okay, go right ahead.
The definition of affordable housing is anywhere from 30% to 120 of the average median income. So the average median income in the city of Plainfield is about $71,000. In terms of affordability, the lowest rent that's possible right now for affordable, which will be in the residential that's behind the Center of Excellence, for a studio apartment, it's going to be as low as under $600. And that's at 30% of the average median income. Now, if you go up to the top end of the average median income, that same studio apartment can cost as much as $1,600. So it varies as you go through.
Thank you, Director. Councilwoman.
Okay, I got a couple of things
okay, go ahead.
that were brought up. One, in regards to the drive silver get pulled over. It's grant funding that is approved through either the state or through the federal government, through the National Traffic Safety Administration. Coming before the council is to make sure that my officers get paid. I can't pay anybody unless the council says that we can spend the money that the government gives us. So that's basically what that's about. In terms of the situations with the shootings and other things that have happened, I really don't understand some of the comments that were made. The police department is very transparent, and I'll put it this way. One of the shootings that was mentioned at last council meeting happened on November 9th. The Plainfield Police Department made an arrest on that shooting on November 21st, which was 12 days later. It was put out to the media. It was put out, Tap Into Plainfield did an article about it. But for some reason, there is this notion that the police department doesn't want to tell the whole story. No, the whole story is that the Plainfield Police Department works very hard every day for the citizens of this city. And they're doing everything that they can to make sure that we bring these issues to the proper conclusion. The situation with the toddler is an ongoing investigation, and hopefully we will have it resolved in a short period of time. But we do not jeopardize investigations by leaking out information. We are not the New York City Police Department. We do not have their resources. We do not have their manpower. We do not have the things that they have to make a comparison where a CEO was actually gunned down in the street. And may I also say, the city of Plainfield has not had a homicide this year. Okay? That is through the work of the men and women of the Plainfield Police Department, but it's also through the work of the residents who understand that we are trying to make this a better community. So when I hear things, I don't take them personal. I'm the police director. And people are going to say how they feel. That's just how things are. And there's nothing wrong with that. But we do work very hard to make sure that we have improved the quality of life in this city for everyone. It's a work in progress. We're not perfect. We're never going to get it perfect. But we're going to work hard every day to make sure that we do the best we can for the citizens of this city. And that was what was relayed last meeting. It may have been relayed a little bit passionately where people took it the wrong way, but that is the bottom line, and that's all that we have going on. There's several other investigations that we are working on. It's a 24-hour city, and we will continue to investigate everything until we get to its conclusion. But if there's anything that anybody wants to know, the police department is very transparent. By law, we have to be transparent, so we cannot hide situations that are happening in town. We can't do that. It doesn't work that way. Thank you.
Thank you. And great work. Councilwoman Briggs?
Yes, just real quick. I would like to address the denial of the city seal on my event flyer as mentioned in my email on December 14th. Despite being a city-sponsored event, I was informed that I wouldn't be eligible for city funds due to assumptions that the event was political in nature. As someone who has organized events for the past 3 years, I felt it was necessary to seek guidance from my legal counsel, who represents both the administration and city council members. I take the use of city funds seriously and understand the implications of my decisions. I want to set the record straight this evening. My intention in requesting the city seal on my flyer was to acknowledge the event's affiliation with the city. I believe it's essential to be transparent about my purpose and the reasons behind my request. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Anything further? Okay, we'll go with Councilwoman Cherry first and then the mayor last.
Thank you, Council President. So I know throughout the year there's been a lot of comments around the deer kill. Does the administration have any type of data about phone calls or emails regarding this issue? The deer kill. So throughout the year, I want to say we probably had about a good 7 or 8 of our residents that came to the mic to talk about the deer kill, so to put a resolution forward. Does the administration have any type of data or any type of emails or anything that you could cite to say?
I have some information in regards to that. The the population of deer in the city of Plainfield, as you know, grows exponentially throughout the year. Unfortunately, I'm not talking about deer kills in terms of what the county is doing with what they do. I'm talking about what the police department deals with. Unfortunately, because we have so many deer in the city, they get stuck on people's fences, they get hit by cars. Numerous things happen to these animals where we unfortunately have to put them down because it's the only humane thing to do. We have had several instances recently where we've actually had to put down deer who were either hit by a car or they were stuck on a fence or something of that nature. And that's what I was talking about. We have an abundant population of deer in the city of Plainfield. So I just wanted to say that. It's something that the police department deals with on a daily basis.
Were you asking in terms of like, are we getting resident
Yeah,
complaints?
are you getting complaints? Are you getting calls? Are you?
I will say in the mayor's office, we're not receiving emails or calls on that subject. I hear it come up here in the council meetings, but it's not something that residents are calling our office about or emailing.
And Councilor Cherry, the only complaints that I do receive from time to time are people who are complaining about the significant presence of deer across the city and how that has been impacting on their quality of life, especially young parents not being able to have their kids go into their backyards to romp and roll and play on the grass. And those are the kinds of complaints that I receive from a large cross-section of people, the calls that I would get from time to time, the personal conversations that I would have with some of our residents. And those of you who were around when we had virtual meetings, you would recall the one meeting when we had numerous of our residents from all parts of our city who came and spoke about the negative impact that the overpopulation of deer has been having on their quality of life. So those are the things that I hear. I do hear the flip side of that from a couple of people who come to this meeting every month. But the vast majority of the complaints that I get are from people who have a real problem with the negative impact of the overpopulation on their quality of life.
Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome, Councilor. I want to touch on Ms. Palmer's comments about the plans to have an Office of Homelessness Prevention. And I must tell you that we're looking at this in a very holistic sense. And I've had conversations with one or two council members about what the plans are for this office and what homelessness prevention really means. And you mentioned rent control and some people being forced out of their apartments as a result. Well, that is what this office will be dealing with, homeless prevention. And so rent control obviously is a part of that. And so this office will be dealing holistically with the problem, and there will be legislation coming forward to this governing body in the early part of 2025 that will deal and address the concerns that you have raised, the concerns that we have heard time and time again from many of our residents who are being saddled with significant increases in their rents. So the Office of Homeless Prevention is designed to address all of those issues, and something will be coming forward in the early part of 2025.
All right. Thank you. I think that concludes our business. Entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.